This is Dr. Camille Hammond with the Cade Foundation, here to have coffee with you. Yay! For one of our last Coffee with Cade events of the year. So we were supposed to be meeting with the president of Shafts Pharmacy 2.0, but Adam had a personal emergency, so it's just going to be me today. Yay! And we're going to talk about the family building grant. So for anyone who may be thinking about applying for a family building grant, today I'm just going to speak with you very briefly about what the family building grant, the Cade Foundation Family Building Grant is, what it isn't, how you can apply, the things that are considered, and to answer any questions. So I'm going to give a few minutes for people to log in, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. So I hope you all are doing well. You've pulled out your food and that you got something yummy to drink while we chit chat. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and share this from the Cade Foundation's page. Yay, there it is. Family building grants, info and advice. And I'll also share it to we have a private page for the Cade Foundation grant recipients, and I'm going to invite them to participate. All right, info and advice. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right, so the Cade Foundation Family Building Grant is the grant process by which we give out up to $10,000 per family for fertility treatment and adoption. Our grants are open basically to anyone in the United States who has infertility. We do not discriminate based on any factor, and you can pick a factor, but we don't discriminate based on anything other than you have to have a diagnosis of infertility. So if you need help for family building, but you don't have infertility, unfortunately, you would not qualify. But if you have infertility, then you would be able to apply for our family building grant. So, family building grant. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about the Cade Foundation's family building grant. Cade Foundation started giving out these grants in 2007. So we were founded in 2005. And we started giving out grants for up to $10,000 per family in 2007. And to date, we have given out 106 grants for fertility treatment and adoption. And by the way, this is hopefully going to be interactive. So if you have questions, send them in. I will answer live on the air. And again, for those of you who were anticipating that this would be a discussion about fertility medicines, I do apologize. Our invited guest had a personal emergency, and so they were not able to, they had to at the last minute postpone their conversation. So it's just going to be me, Dr. Camille Hammond, CEO of the Cade Foundation, talking about the Cade Family Building Grant. So let's go ahead and move on. So we have been giving out these grants since 2007, and 106 families have received grants so far. So we've received questions over the years, all types of questions. Am I still eligible if I already have a child? Yes. Why? Because we don't discriminate based on any factor other than a diagnosis of infertility. You've got to have infertility, but any other, if you have, as long as you have infertility, you're eligible to apply. So now, are all the grants $10,000? No, because everyone, first of all, doesn't need $10,000. And second of all, if infertility and family building is something that is very important to you, then you usually put money towards the things that are important to you, right? Even if you don't have a lot of money, you usually contribute something to those things. So, for instance, let's use your housing as an example. Every month you pay for a roof over your head and heat. Those things aren't free. So if you're saying that infertility is the most important thing to you, but you're not, or having a child and building a family is the most important thing to you, but you're unwilling to contribute at all to that, that sends a message to the reviewers that perhaps this thing that you're saying is important to you is not as important than, as you say. So that is taken into consideration. So our reviewers want to see that you do have some level of investment in your own family building. Now, are some of the grants $10,000? Absolutely. But are all of them? Nope. Again, it depends on what your need is. And we are, even for those grants that are $10,000, we are looking to see that all of the families have a personal investment in their family building. So we want to see that you've at least made plans or provisions so that you would be able to contribute to that goal. Another question, deadlines. Deadlines are hard and fast. So if you apply or you submit your application the day after the grant is due, you won't be considered with that cycle. Deadlines are February 1st and July the 1st. Now, because the application is available online 24/7, you could theoretically find out about the grant 2 or 3 days before the grant is due, finish your application. On average, I think that they take about 45 minutes to an hour to complete. And that's just because we do have a couple of personal statements that are required. So if you work on your personal statement offline, you can copy and paste it into the application. But, and we do also require you submit some information about your budgets, your household budget and your grant budget. Now, there's something that some people have done in the past, which resulted in them not getting as high a score on the review process as was possible. They reported an annual household income, which is on the taxes. That's easy. But then we ask about their household budget. How do you spend your money on a monthly basis or an annual basis? And then they would, when the families have listed what they use their money on, you know, we actually add up the numbers that people provide. So we would say, okay, you have said that you need X amount of dollars. You said that you make X amount of dollars, and this is what, this is how you use your money. Well, there have been a few occasions where the amount that people spent on a monthly basis was higher than the amount that they reported to receive through their revenue. So then the question that our financial advisory committee people asked was, well, where's the extra money coming from? If you make $70,000, but you spend 90, then the question that our reviewers have said is, well, there's either an extra $20,000 in unreported revenue that we'd like to know about, or perhaps you're not spending this much, or I don't know. So, but our reviewers don't fill the gaps in. They can't fill in the gaps. They can't say, well, we think that, I don't know, we think that they have a Stella and Dot business, or we think that they are mowing lawns on the side. All we have is what you report. So basically, you need to report all of your revenue, and the annual household budget needs to come in at least at or below what your annual revenue is. So that's very important. Another question, frankly, that our reviewers have looked at is, how do you spend your money? So we ask, how do you spend your money? And that's why you give us kind of a breakdown of your monthly or annual budget. And even though you may think it's not fair, we look at actually what the money goes to. And we look at things like, how much is your credit card bill? How often do you eat out? What is your grocery bill compared to perhaps some other people? And we look at it and then we evaluate your spending as relatively conservative, meaning you really don't spend most of the money that you make. You try and spend less money so that you have more money to take care of the things that you have said are most important. We consider it either relatively conservative, average, i.e. you spend about what most people spend on their lifestyle, or extremely liberal, meaning you spend a lot of money compared to what you make. And again, we are always looking back at if infertility and building a family are things that are very important to you, does the way you spend your money reflect that importance? So that's something that is considered. And as you are just putting your application together and just living your life, remember that that is something that is looked at and considered. Also, the question is asked, are you able to come to the family building gala? Now, the gala is an activity that is not required for all grant recipients, but it's good for people to be able to attend, because then they know what it means to be a part of this Cade Foundation Family Building Grant family. This isn't free money where you just get it and then you can disappear and act like, infertility was never a factor. We really are looking for people who want to be engaged, who want to be resources and serve as, ambassadors for Cade in their communities. That means if someone is doing a health fair, and they ask for someone who can talk about infertility in a community where we're not based, we may ask you to be willing to go and share about your experience. So people who off the bat say, nope, I don't want to be engaged, I don't want to share, that's not something I'm open to, that is not perceived in a very positive light, because those are things that are very important to Cade Foundation. And we really are looking for people who want to engage and want to be engaged with us. Let's see. At this point, I haven't seen a lot of questions. So I am going to assume that no one has any questions. And Kristen, do you have any questions? No. Okay. All right. So this was a quick and dirty review of the Family Building Grant. The next application deadline is going to be on February the 1st, and we will be holding another Q&A about the Family Building Grant in January and mid-January, and that's going to be via conference call, and Mrs. Nishi Randall will be conducting that, and will be available to answer any questions. In the meanwhile, thank you for those of you who tuned in today. For anyone who has any questions that they didn't feel comfortable asking online, always feel free to send in your questions on social media or give us a call at 410-998-1000, or send in your questions or just send in your information to info@cadefoundation.org. We're always available to interact and are happy to be able to serve this community. While I have your attention, we have lots of great things planned for 2019, and we will be posting our New Year's calendar. We will be posting our calendar sometime over the next few weeks. So I hope that you will plan to join us. We are going to be having a race for the family at the Maryland Zoo once again on June the 8th, which I'm super excited about. This year we're going to have 2 raffles. One would be for the $10,000 in treatment from Shady Grove Fertility. And the second raffle will be for 1 cycle of medications from EMD Sagrono for an IVF cycle. So those are going to be raffled off separately. And I'm super excited about having a second raffle. The medication raffle will be done live at the race. And then the Shady Grove Fertility treatment raffle will be done via social media on this same platform the Monday following the race. So that's one. We've got our Corks with Cade in Frederick at the Hidden Hills Farm and Vineyard, which is going to be on August the 25th and, August the 24th in Frederick. And we also have the Corks with Cade in California, which is going to be at the Dante Robert Vineyard on September the 14th. In Livermore, California. And I'm hoping that many of you will join us, come out to say hello and, let us know what you think about the work we're doing. And we look forward to connecting with you. We are still finalizing the venue for our gala for next year. But one of our goals is to engage people, high profile folks who have struggle with and overcome infertility. And here recently, we've had so many people who have shared their stories of overcoming. And I think that many have been inspired and encouraged by hearing that people they look up to and that they admire, struggle with infertility and overcame infertility. Because the struggle is not what's important. The fact is that you didn't give up and that you've overcome. So we're going to be looking to connect with some folks who've written and been public about their struggles and their victory at the gala next year. So I'm super excited about that. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you both on Coffee with Cade in the future, as well as at some of our events in 2019. So I had my Coffee with Cade cup today, and it had hot chocolate in it. And I hope that you're drinking something yummy and that you have a fantastic rest of your day. And I will reconnect with you soon. Be well.